spot.
Simeon out of the gate.
That would be nice. Yeah. So Todd and I are back here, Mercedes-Benz post-game live when it's over in Queens. Right now, Mets and the Twins. Mets looking to snap their 11-game losing streak right now.
Citi Field in New York. The New York Mets play the Minnesota Twins. Tuesday baseball is presented by Spectrum. Well, the reeling Mets had a day off yesterday, and yesterday was a perfect day to take a deep breath. Maybe several deep breaths. It's the perfect way for a team to try and turn the low times into high times. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets begin a 9-game homestand with the first of 3 against the Minnesota Twins. The Mets have lost 11 straight games, and there are a lot of reasons why, but it starts with the offense, and it starts with their inability to make use of opponents' fastballs.
You know, when Soto went down, now that's not the main reason, but I think you're right, Gary. Their slug against the fastball has not been good. And on this recent road trip, because before that they weren't even swinging at the fastball. The recent road trip, though, they were swinging at it, but putting it in play on the ground. 35 ground balls in the Dodger series alone. The Dodgers turned that into 33 outs.
Well, the best way to get back on the winning track is to have your best pitcher pitching today. And even though he's only made 12 big league starts, Nolan McLean has quickly established himself as the Mets' best bet.
It really is starting to become that you cannot miss this young man's starts. To do what he did at Dodger Stadium, I guess Yamamoto, who was just as good, 7 beautiful innings from McLean. I thought one of the best games he's had in a Mets uniform.
Former Mets draft pick Simeon Woods Richardson will make the start tonight for the Twins.
Yeah, drafted in 2018. He was then traded for Marcus Stroman. He has found a home in Minnesota, but in his last start, 10 hits and 7 runs allowed against the Red Sox.
So the Mets begin a homestand, a chilly night at Citi Field. Mets trying to turn around their chilly ways, and we're not going to sacrifice a live chicken, but Steve Gelbs is going to try to find a way to, change the plan a little bit.
Power.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Dear Spring, Toyota's adrenaline-pumping lineup is ready for you. Toyota, let's go places. By the New York Lottery, this could be your lucky play. By Heineken, proud partner of the New York Mets. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. And by Genesis, discover the award-winning lineup of Genesis SUVs and sedans at your local tri-state Genesis retailer. MLB Plus is new for 2026. Select out-of-market games every week, plus live radio broadcasts of every game and minor league action. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Now, in an effort to change the Mets' luck, we sent Steve Gelbs out in front of the stadium today to see if he could figure out a few ways to change the old karma. Steve?
Well, yes, Gary, we are out here trying to change the vibes. We thought about calling up Grimace, but he was unavailable today. So instead, we went the Pedro Serrano route in the movie Major League, and we are having some ritual cleansing. It's going to start with this garlic necklace that I'm wearing to get all the demons away from us here at Citi Field. And then, of course, classically, burning of sage, which is to expel all the negative energy surrounding the 11-game losing streak. See, I'm already thinking positive with the winning streak. 140 games to go. The season starts now. These Mets fans are out here.
We still got time.
Still got time. Everybody, ritualistically, we are going to cleanse the area starting now on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go Mets! 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 Let's go Mets!
Gary, I'm feeling the positive vibes. We're off to a great start. Let's send it back to you guys in the booth.
Well, we'll try to do our part, Steve. We've got the horseshoes with the open end up. That's supposed to be a barrier against evil forces.
Right. We got the candles, of course. Rico Cardi used to light candles in his bath to weed off to get the evil demons away. I had my mom come in on the off day. She feng shuied the place up, so we're in good shape.
Sounds like we've taken all the precautions we could. All the evil forces should be exorcised. Nolan McLean in his big league career has made 6 starts on the Citi Field mound. He has a 1.26 ERA pitching in his home ballpark.
84 strikeouts in those first 12 starts as well. See the Toyota numbers, just beautiful so far. Only Jose Soriano has given up less hits than Nolan McLean.
Hyundai starting lineup for the Twins. The oft-injured Byron Buxton stayed healthy all last year. Royce Lewis also oft-injured, just off the injured list today, coming back from a knee injury. The well-traveled Josh Bell is off to a nice start, DHing and hitting third. Ryan Jeffers probably having the best offensive year of all the Twins, and that's the lineup McLean will face tonight.
Gary, he's had 4 starts, 4 different starts, where he's featured one pitch more than others. Against the Dodgers, he had everything: the inside fastball to left-handed hitters, the backdoor breaking ball, and the changeup he featured against right-handers. Made him smile.
There are the numbers from the last start. He matched up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto in a tremendous pitcher's duel. And the Dodgers wound up winning that game after McLean had left following his 7 innings. The Twins got off to a good start this year. They were in first place in the AL Central until the weekend when they got swept by the Reds. So they've got a 4-game losing streak of their own. Derek Shelton in his first year managing the Twins. He was fired early last season as manager of the Pirates. Now back with Minnesota, where he had served as a coach before he went to Pittsburgh. Byron Buxton leads off for the Twins. McLean is ready to go, and his first pitch of the night is a fastball inside, and we're underway. Buxton now 32 years old. Last year, he played in 100-plus games for the 3rd time in his 12-year career. We'll give you an idea just how often he's been hurt. He had a really good season last year. That was a foul tip, 1-1 to Buxton.
Buxton as a whole up and in. First 2 pitches from his teammate in the WBC, up and in.
Buxton played a lot early on in the WBC. Then Pete Crow Armstrong took his spot. He didn't play very much down the stretch of the WBC, and he said it really messed up his whole spring routine. And so he's gotten off to a bit of a slow start. It's a 300-odd base percentage, hitting out of the leadoff spot.
Hotter, though, in his last 12 games, so heating up is Buxton.
Trevor Larnach on deck, and then Josh Bell. And that 98-mile-an-hour fastball stays inside. We saw more 4-seamers from McLean in his last start than in any of his prior starts.
27 4-seamers from McLean.
And a half swing. He went around on the sinker, and Buxton is a strikeout victim to start the ninth.
Well, defense for the Mets. You see McLean and Alvarez are the battery mates today. Bichette, Lindor, Simeon, and Vientos as you go around the infield. And Benjamin made some nice plays in Chicago with Luis Robert Jr. and Brett Beatty again in right field.
Let's expect to have Juan Soto back in the lineup tomorrow, coming back from his calf injury. He was out running the bases today and looking 100%. Trevor Larnach hits number 2 in the order, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Larnach has only had 34 official at-bats, but he's drawn 13 walks. So he's got a 468 on base percentage. And he's quickly down the count, observing, and it's 0-2.
All fastballs so far from McLean. 5 number 1 picks in this lineup for the Twins.
Larnach came out of Oregon State in 2018, was drafted in the first round. 17 home runs last year for the Twins. And it just got a piece of that changeup to stay in the at-bat. Well, the Twins have gotten off to a fast offensive start. Just about everybody in this lineup is overperforming their numbers from last year. Their issues have been their defense and their bullpen. Inside to Larnach, and it's 1-2. Josh Bell on deck. Mentioned that McClain threw more four-seamers than in any start in his career against the Dodgers, and he did not give up a single base runner on an at-bat that ended in a four-seamer. And he goes away with the changeup to get Larnach. Back-to-back strikeouts for McClain to start the night.
Well, this is a pitch he featured a lot in Los Angeles as well. This ball, a foot off the plate. See that kick change that he uses, so much spin.
Two out and nobody on. Now Josh Bell is playing for his 7th different major league team across 11 seasons. And the switch hitter fouls off the first pitch, sinker, 0-1. Bell last year played for the Nats in 22 home runs. He's off to a fast start with the Twins. Former Pirates draft pick, had his biggest season in Pittsburgh. Up and in fastball, and he stopped the swing in time. Will Little, the third base umpire, makes the call. Ryan Addington is calling the balls and strikes tonight. Ryan Wills at first. The crew chief Lance Barksdale at second. Ball and a strike to Bell. And goes after a high cutter and fouls it back 1-2.
That's another kind of theme of McClain's start in Los Angeles as well. He had a lot of pitches high in the strike zone or above the strike zone.
He was left-hand batters to a 102 average through his first 4 starts. Bell able to fight that one off late and stay in the count.
Change-up grip. See all the fingers wrapped around it. Circle change grip. And I think usually that kind of pointer finger is the one that's extended to signify the kick change.
Emergency hack by Bell. He fouls off the changeup to stay in the at-bat. McClain has just been spectacular. His whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, is 0.76. That's the best in the National League.
A lot of shakes so far in this first.
Grounded down to first, and that ball stays fair for Vientos, and that retires the side. McClain with a dominant 1-2-3 opening inning. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. Well, we mentioned earlier Juan Soto was out running the bases with vigor today, ahead of what the Mets expect will be his activation off the injured list tomorrow. And that is a welcome sight. Mets had an offensive explosion the first 3 games after Soto got hurt, but they've been in the doldrums since. A different look in the Honda starting lineup. Marcus Semien batting leadoff for the first time this year. The 851st time in his career he's hit leadoff. Far more than any other spot in the batting order. Simeon Woods Richardson is having a pitch count issue before he can get started.
Just remember, you see the numbers so far from Simeon Woods Richardson. In those 4 starts, the Twins are 0-4. When the Rangers won the World Series, their leadoff hitter that entire season was Marcus Semien.
And Woods Richardson has been called for a pitch clock violation because of not having an active pitch count.
Love it. Finally. The Spectrum Twins defense, battery mates of Woods, Richardson, and Jeffers. And across the infield, Royce Lewis back off the IL. Brooks Lee, who's played some third, moves over to short. Keishel at second base. And Cody Clemens found a home here in Minnesota. Larnach, Buxton, and Wallner. Wallner's got a big arm.
Twins are 29th in the major leagues in defensive runs saved. It's been a big issue for them. That really cost them a couple of games against the Reds this weekend. Semien takes up and in, and it's 2-0. Marcus had a good series in Chicago. He went 5 for 10 and a double, had a stolen base his first of the year. And he takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike, 2-1. And as you can see, Woods Richardson isn't going to light up the radar gun, but he gets great extension and he has that induced vertical break.
He's always tried to find a home for his breaking pitches. Always been 50-50 with those. That will be the big separator for him now and in the future.
It's behind on Semien, 3-1, and Marcus pops it up. And to shallow center. Out goes Keishel, the second baseman, to call. And that's the first out.
Woods Richardson last year in 111 2/3 innings, 17 home runs allowed, 4 already this season at 20 2/3. You can notice his fastball is pretty straight.
Gives up a lot of fly balls, and the home runs come as a result. Here's Lindor. Showed some signs of life late on that road trip. Went 6 for 20 over his last 5 games. Mets have faced Woods Richardson once before. That was 2 years ago here, and they beat him up. It got 6 runs and 3 1/3 against him in a 15-2 Mets win. It's always special for a young player to play against the team that originally drafted him and decided to trade him away. Woods Richardson, a second-round out of high school. His name, last name, not hyphenated, Woods Richardson. Lindor left him on the center, and Buxton has it lined up. And he's from a town with 2 words, not hyphenated, Sugar Land, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Something of Houston.
Well, if you're going to give up fly balls, tonight would be the night. At the end of the game, we might be under 40 degrees, but the Twins are well prepared for that. 13 home games they've had so far, 8 of them have been under 45 degrees.
You should get used to this. It's not supposed to get much warmer through this homestand. Here's Luis Robert hitting third. He golfs one in the air to center field. Angling it is the left fielder Larnach. And he's got it. 3 balls in the air. 3 outs for Richardson. No score after 1. You got to believe. You got to believe. Here's Tug McGraw. 1973. That's where in last place on August 30th, and they got within a game of winning the World Series. Ryan Jeffers leads off against Nolan McLean in the second. Jeffers off to a terrific offensive start. He's always been known for his offense more than his defense. Catcher hitting cleanup.
Minnesota's always like those kind of catchers. Remember Mitch Garver was here for a while, ended up hitting over 30 home runs in like 300 at-bats one year.
Mitch Garver had a game to remember here in 2019 when he was playing for the Twins. He had 2 home runs against Jacob deGrom. Jeffers had a good series here 2 years ago when the Twins came in. Mets went to Minnesota last year and won only 1 of the 3 games. Sweeper misses low and away, and a full count to Jeffers. So McLean, who did not throw either his curveball or his sweeper in the first inning, incorporated them here. Cody Clemens, the on-deck batter, then Luke Keishel for the Twins. Fly ball out to right, and Red Beatty is positioned perfectly. 1 out. So far this year, National League teams have dominated American League teams in interleague play. 78-52. That's why you look at the National League Central, and all the teams are over 500. And you look at the American League West, and there's only 1 team over 500.
Yeah, the American League is idling so far.
Here's Cody Clemens. He started last year with the Phillies and was picked up by the Twins in a cash deal. Wound up playing a lot for Minnesota last year. He's playing first base tonight. And that breaking ball wrapped around the plate, and it's 1-1. Nolan McLean's 13th major league start. Through his first 12, he's 6-2 with a 2.13 ERA. By Clemens, and it's 1-2.
That ball just runs so much. Starts right down the middle. Ends up 3 or 4 inches outside. And with the velocity it has, just beats these hitters.
1-2 coming to Clemens. And he got him with an up and away fastball. 5 up and 5 down with 3 strikeouts from McLean. 2 out in the second.
You know, you're getting 15 or plus inches of movement on this ball, and it seemed to almost rise as it came out of his hand, and it's a two-seamer.
Now Luke Keeschel, a 23-year-old second baseman, and he pulls out of the way of a sinker. Keeschel had a great start to his career last year, and then he got hit on the forearm by a Kyle Hendricks fastball and missed about 4 months. Wound up playing just 49 games as a rookie, but he hit .302 during those games and had 14 steals. So he's one to grow on for the Twins. That's where McLean sits since he came to the big leagues, third behind Yamamoto and Skeens. Oh, sweeper just outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Sometimes you come out of the bullpen, Gary, and just the ball feels great coming out of your hand, firm, some velo, and it had to feel that way for Nolan because he's come into this game just uber aggressive with his 2 and 4 seam.
Do you feel on cold nights as though, as a pitcher, you have that much more of an advantage?
Always. You're the only guy that's warm on the field with the catcher.
2-2 to Keeschel, and he got it. Upstairs with the fastball. 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings for Nolan McLean. Bo Bichette takes a pitch high out of the strike zone as we start the home second inning. Bichette hitting cleanup tonight. He's got a home run on his ledger against Simeon Woods Richardson. Bichette, Melendez, and Alvarez for the Mets in the second, after Woods Richardson required just 8 pitches to get the Mets 1-2-3 in the first. Bichette takes a splitter down. That's the new pitch for Woods Richardson last year. It was a big pitch for him. He has struggled with it so far this year.
Yeah, it's the pitch that he can neutralize left-handers and right-handers, get the ball on the ground some. I think the thing he's changed as well from the last time I saw him, if you watch his motions, much more compact. It's like he's pitching in a doorway, but even more importantly, he's trying to hide the ball. And I think that's always a good thing. Just keeps it close, and you don't see it till the very end.
A little dunker into shallow right, and that's going to fall for a base hit for Bichette. Just reached out and flicked it to right field with Bichette as the first hit of this game.
Bichette's laughing, wipes across his chest after hitting the ball about 60 miles an hour to right field, but you'll take him. He's had plenty of line drive outs, especially in Chicago. And this pitch is off the plate, below the knees, but he can cover it.
So the Mets have a leadoff base runner. Now MJ Melendez, his first Citi Field game as a Met, starting his 5th consecutive game after he was called up in LA. And he's gotten off to a fast start, 5 for 14, including a home run and 2 doubles. 1152 OPS, that plays. Melendez DHing again tonight and hitting 5th in the order. Got ahead of that breaking ball and pulled a foul, ball and a strike.
Well, the home run he hit on Sunday, we were hoping that it would be the difference maker. Fastball up. Usually left-handers don't cover that pitch, but he certainly did. Into the seats and right.
Balls in the strike to Melendez with Alvarez next. And Melendez flies this one out to right. Wallner steadies, grabs it, 1 out. This Saturday, April 25th, the first 18,000 fans at the Mets-Rockies game will get a Mr. Met at the Unisphere light-up bobblehead. For tickets, go to Mets.com/tickets. It used to be just bobbleheads. Now, it's a production theme. That's a beautiful shot. The lights, the big city behind it. Francisco Alvarez, OPS of 879 coming into the day. Takes a splitter down for ball one. Mendoza's been moving his batting order around a little bit, trying to get his hottest hitters some more plate appearances. That's why Semien hit lead off today. Melendez and Alvarez have been moved up. Splitter in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Alvarez has been moved up. He hasn't broken the top 5 yet, though.
Alvarez takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. Semien Woods Richardson only spent about a year in the Mets farm system. But the people who knew him said that he was an incredible student of the game. He knew all about guys like J.R. Richard and Satchel Paige and Bob Gibson. He had gone to school, especially on those African-American pitchers who had paved the way. Swing and a miss, and he got him with a splitter. And Alvarez down on strikes with the second out. It's a club called the Black Aces.
Well, I think anyone who appreciates this game like I do love when a younger player really gets into it himself. There's a lot to learn from the stories of pros before us. Some what to do and some what not to do.
Black Aces are a group of pitchers who were 20-game winners.
Yep.
Now, there aren't very many 20-game winners anymore. So I wonder if they'll change the standard. But guys like Dave Stewart and Mudcat Grant.
Well, both of those guys were 20-game winners, but maybe some of the more recent pitchers like Hunter Green and others.
1-1 to Brett Beatty, who's just 1 for his last 24. And he fights off a fastball, 1-2. That was the first time Woods Richardson was traded. The second time he was dealt for Jose Barrios from Toronto to Minnesota. And when he found out, he was actually with the U.S. Olympic team in Tokyo. And he was rooming there with Joe Ryan, who had just been traded to the Twins the week before.
From Tampa Bay.
Right.
Gee.
See Joe Ryan pitch on Thursday night. With Pablo Lopez out for the year. Ryan is the ace of this Minnesota staff. Bichette led off with a single. He's still at first with 2 out. 2-2 to Beatty. Vientos would be next. And Brett takes it down. A spit on the splitter, and it's 3-2.
Catcher all the way down. Jeffers just cradles that into his midsection.
First baseman Clemens drops back behind Bichette with 3-2 and 2 out. And Beatty goes down swinging on the splitter. Back-to-back strikeouts for Woods Richardson to strand Bichette. They'll score after 2. 2 pitchers, 2 different spots on the rubber, 2 different landing areas.
Well, you know, the one on the right is Semien Woods Richardson, but on the left here, camera right, this is the one for Nolan McLean. And I always talk about him throwing across his body. But what makes it more severe is that he stands on the far third base side of the rubber. So that lines up kind of with the inside corner to a right-hander of the plate. So when he's throwing from that position, he is in fact behind the right-handed hitter.
Here's his first curveball of the night, and it has Matt Wallner flailing, and it's 0-2. In his last start against the Dodgers, he spun that curveball at an average of 33.72 revolutions per minute, the highest spin rate of any curveball in any game since they started counting.
He threw one to Ohtani that was over 3,400, and Ohtani looked out at him, looked at the ball, looked around, like, what was that?
Wallner, big power hitter, takes a big swing at a high fastball and goes down. That's 5 strikeouts through the first 7 batters for Nolan McLean.
Well, the game plan so far in watching the Minnesota hitters is I think they came into it kind of, let me see what this young man has, and then we'll kind of make an adjustment. Well, that means they're down 0-2 a lot of time through this first time through the order.
Royce Lewis is first at bat off the injured list. He went up there hacking. Lewis, like Buxton, has been injured so much. Last year he played 106 games. That was a career high. Just came off a knee injury. Tries to hold the swing, and he stopped it in time on the changeup. Ryan Wills with the call, 1-1.
Well, after some breaking balls and changeups, watch how fast that ball's on you. You have no time to react. In fact, Warner looked out at McLean like, what was that?
And Lewis takes a sweeper for a strike, and it's 1-2. Royce Lewis, first overall pick in the draft in 2017 out of high school in California. When he's healthy, he's dangerous. And he goes down swinging on the changeup. That's 4 strikeouts in a row for McLean. And 6 of the first 8 batters.
Remember earlier in the at-bat, he threw that changeup and he did not get the check swing call. So once he got the 2 strikes, he went back to it, knowing that Lewis, good chance he would bite on that pitch.
So 8 up and 8 down with 6 Ks for McLean. And now the switch hitting shortstop Brooks Lee. He's a better right-hand hitter than left. Hitting just 194 from this side of the plate. Hit 16 home runs last year. Takes a letter high strike, and it's 1-1. All these Twins except Josh Bell are facing McLean for the first time. Lee was a first-round pick in 2022, coming out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he played for his dad, Larry Lee. McLean ahead of him, 1-2. Just missed, and Alvarez thought about challenging the call, but decided against it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I thought it was a strike, but I think it's a good decision not to challenge it. Came back over the middle of the inside corner of the plate. It might have been off.
That one's in for a call, strike 3. Look at one, get away with it. Look at another, sit down. McLean strikes out the side in the 3rd. Home 3rd inning, Mark Vientos leads off and boots one foul back into the backstop. Mark was just 2 for his last 33, but he homered at Chicago. Hoping to translate that. Dropped to 8th in the order tonight with Carson Benj on deck and then Marcus Semien. And he lines that one to left field, and that'll drop in for a base hit. Vientos got it down off the end of the bat and dumped it into left with the Mets' second hit, 2nd straight inning to that leadoff man on.
When you get it a little off the end of the bat, it's going to have a lot of spin on it. And when he hit it, I thought it was going to be right at the left fielder, but just died with that spin. Side swing so quick. When he's looking for a pitch, he gets it.
delivers. Now Carson Bench bluffing a bunt and takes a strike. That's experimented with Bench in the leadoff spot for the 3 games in Chicago. Now back in the 9 hole. 9 for 63 to start his big league career. Bench slashes one foul. Drew the third baseman Lewis in with that bunt on the first pitch, but unable to slash it by him. Grounded to short, a chance for 2. Lead takes it to the bag, but he can't double up Bench. It's one of those circumstances where with the shift on, there's no way the second baseman can get there. And Lee had so far to go to get to the bag, he can't double up a fast runner.
Well, you can look at it a couple different ways. First, Bench and the speed he has. When he gets on his horse, he can fly. But if he was playing a normal shortstop position from many years ago, that ball might have been up the middle for a hit.
So here's Simeon with a base stealer aboard. Bench 5 for 5 stealing bases. Big hole on the right side for Marcus. And he goes after a high slider and comes up empty. 0-1. Simeon popped up on a 3-1 pitch his first time up. Richardson's pretty good at holding runners. Bench extends his lead, doesn't go. And the splitter misses down, a ball and strike.
You mentioned it before, Gary, when he had that rough start. The one thing he showed me, though, he can hold runners. He's a really good athlete, good fielder. Can't get more up the middle. And the second baseman for the Twins right now.
Marcus is a guy who is trying to pull the ball almost all the time. So it makes sense against this hitter to leave that hole on the right side, but it sure looks tempting, doesn't it?
And not a hard thrower, right?
Bench takes a healthy lead, extends it, and runs. Pitches up, Jeffers throws too late, and Bench is 6 for 6 stealing bases. Jeffers, for some reason, had trouble getting rid of that ball. And Bench able to steal the base easily.
Well, a lot of times what happens is you're trying to get rid of the ball so quickly because you see the jump as a catcher, your peripheral vision, you can see the jump and know that you've got to really get rid of it quick, and he just wasn't able to come up with the grip.
We mentioned the defensive troubles that the Twins have had. If you look at defensive runs saved, they have 3 players who are last at their position in the major leagues. Jeffers is one of them. The shortstop Lee and the right fielder Wallner are the other 2. Lindor waiting on deck, 2-2. And he's able to lay off the splitter, 3-2 to Simeon.
Well, after I said that Woods Richardson can keep the runners close, not even looking over there, watch the lead. 2, 3, shuffle steps and go. That's a gimme.
Three-two coming to Simeon, and he walked him. And the Mets have 2 men on for Lindor. It's first walk for Simeon Woods Richardson. Shelton spent parts of 6 seasons managing the Pirates before he was let go last year, and signed up quickly this year in the offseason by the Twins. Here's Lindor. There's a slider for ball 1. Lindor just 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position this season. Bench at second, Simeon at first with 1 out. And Francisco lays off on the splitter. 2-0. That's a not been drawing many walks lately. In fact, Sunday against the Cubs, they didn't have a single walk. And now Semien has broken that streak. See if Lindor can take advantage with Luis Robert on deck. And that one misses down, and now Woods Richardson putting himself in the soup behind Lindor 3-0.
You know, Woods Richardson got some outs in the first couple of innings because he was uber aggressive, going right after the hitters, throwing a lot of strikes. Just the opposite here in this inning.
Well, when he gets in trouble, it's hard for him. This year, they're hitting .364 against him with runners in scoring position. Lindor takes a strike, 3-1. And he just doesn't have all the power and stuff.
Got to be precise and ahead in the count.
And Lindor swings through a fastball 3-2. Did you notice that the Mets are wearing their black uniforms tonight on a Tuesday night?
What is that about?
I think it's about, you know, burning sage, hanging horseshoes, just trying to change the mojo. Mojo works. Lindor hits one out of sight for a 3-run homer. Shot in the arm for the New York Mets. Second home run of the year for Lindor. A no-doubter into the Coca-Cola corner, and the Mets have a 3-0 lead.
Well, he had a big swing on the 3-1 pitch. Came up empty, and Woods Richardson gave him the same pitch, and he made the adjustment.
The hard hat.
I like
vest. Is the sledgehammer far behind?
You're going to have to R&D, research and development, to work on that vest.
Well, it's easier to get into than the Armani jacket that they had for Team Italy.
There you go.
But he got it.
Here's the threes. Run scores.
The blue-collar 3-run homer. Robert pops one up in foul ground. Coming in is Clemens to call. The wind takes it, but he stays with it. And that's the second out.
Take that back. That might have been a straight change that he tried to get him in front of. And the sped up the bat of Lindor, and he was all over it.
It's the first time that the Mets have led by more than one run since their last win against Arizona on April 7th. That's 2 weeks ago today. And Bichette takes it off the plate. It's 2-0. Bo had a base hit to right field his first time up, and he takes a strike. Bo fists one on the right side. Should be easy for Clemens. That retires the side. But Francisco Lindor's 3-run homer puts the Mets in front 3-0.
Less at Whole Foods Market.
9 up and 9 down for Nolan McLean with 7 strikeouts, and now he's got a 3-run lead. Byron Buxton, who took the first pitch of the game inside, takes another fastball inside. Buxton struck out leading off in the opening inning. McLean's been very fastball heavy early in this game as you look at the spectrum of strikeouts by pitch type.
One thing he started doing in Los Angeles with that difficult and tough lineup for the Dodgers, he started pitching inside effectively, and he's done that to everyone, including Buxton, over and over.
Chopper hit to the right side for Semien to get. One away. The third fair ball hit by the Twins tonight.
Well, when you're watching him, he has so many gifts. This one, the two-seamer running, another two-seamer off the plate. That one was more a four-seamer to Wallner. But in a game that he's known for his spin rate on his sweeper and curveball, he's thrown very few.
Almost 70% fastballs through the first 3 innings. Pitching decisions presented by Sage, the official finance software partner of Major League Baseball. Now Trevor Larnach, who struck out his first time up. And the backdoor sweeper misses for ball 1. Larnach now in his 6th year with the Twins. He was a first-round pick coming out of Oregon State in 2018.
Buxton comes out of the box. He's probably one of the fastest players in the game. The bat hits his helmet, it comes off, and he looks like Jacques Cousteau going over there.
Diver Dan.
People have to Google that one. I mean, that was quite a show. When I was a kid, I mean, I couldn't wait to watch when they used to scuba dive. I was like, I'm always going to learn how to scuba dive. I did. It's a little dangerous. It's a little scary down there.
Well, you can hurt yourself. Fly ball into shallow right. Beatty comes on to get it. And they're 2 away. You didn't have Diver Dan in Worcester.
No, we didn't.
That's a local New York show, I think. It was a terribly produced, like, puppet. With the Barracuda was the villain. Diver Dan was the hero.
Like the puppets of Mr. Rogers, kind of like that?
Probably lower class than that. Here's Josh Bell, who grounded out his first time up, and he takes a fastball on the inside corner. Bell's hit better right-handed than left-handed so far this year. He takes a changeup, low and in, ball and strike. Looking at the M on the Twins helmets, doesn't that remind you of one of the incarnations of the Marlins logo?
Yes.
Weak ground ball hit to the right side. Easy for Vientos. Side retired. 4 perfect innings for Nolan McLean. That one without a strikeout. 3-0. Get ready for Draft Day 2026 as our team of Jets analysts will be in studio and on site in Pittsburgh and Florham Park. Bring you an in-depth first-round preview and recap on Jets Nation Draft Day Special presented by Verizon Thursday starting at 5 p.m. only on SNY. It's been a bad weekend for closers around the majors presented by Spectrum. Edwin Diaz, loose bodies in his elbow. He's going to be out for 3 months. Cubs lost Daniel Palencia over the weekend. The Braves just put Raisel Iglesias on the injured list today. Bad juju for closers.
I had that operation that Diaz is going to have a couple of times in my career, but the Mets wouldn't let me get it until the offseason. He said he can't have it in season.
So how many innings did you pitch that year?
I don't know. You know, the huge, Gary.
250?
Yeah.
Now if you get to 150, you're an Iron Man.
It was just so funny. When they saw that his velocity had ticked down, they just kept him out for a few days. And I guess it never got any better.
Well, when you have the depth that the Dodgers have, they have, what, 13 pitchers on the injured list all the time. They can afford to prepare themselves for October rather than trying to get to October.
They did that with Blake Snell last year. Would you be surprised if Edwin's throwing 100 miles an hour in October? Nope.
2-2 to MJ Melendez, who flied out to right his first time up. Melendez, Alvarez, and Beatty for the Mets in the 4th. And Woods Richardson thought he was going to get that call, but didn't. And now it's 3-2.
Jeffers has not been very good at the challenges so far this year.
But the Twins challenge more than any team in the major leagues. Melendez reaches and pops it up. Keishel on the outfield grass. One hands it, one away. I mean, if you're a team like the Twins, who were basically counted out before the year began. The feeling was that they had done very little to improve their club, and they had traded away so many pieces last year at the deadline. You have to try and win at the edges. So it makes sense that they would be challenging more than other teams.
I mean, think about last year. They, at the end of the season, let their manager go, Rocco Baldelli. But in season, they let Carlos Correa go back to Houston. Duran and Bader went to Philadelphia. Varland went to Tampa Bay. Toronto Blue Jays, where he pitched in the World Series. And Griffin Jax is now in Tampa Bay.
Twins won 70 games last year. And the preseason expectations were that they would win even fewer games this year. There's the whole list, including Harrison Bader, who wound up having a great stretch drive for Philly.
That's a lot of talent. Varland seemed to pitch every day in the postseason for the Blue Jays.
Oh, I forgot about Joan Duran. He's on the injured list, too.
That's right.
Another closer who's out within the last week.
What's he got, an oblique issue?
I think that's it. Twins' last division title in postseason was in 2023. They've made the postseason 4 of the last 9 years. Chopped up the third baseline foul, but they have not gotten past the division series since 2002.
Their numbers against the Yankees in the postseason are so epic, and I mean in a bad way, that they just can't get through there.
They just find a way to not play the Yankees.
Well, that's hard.
1-2 to Alvarez with Beatty on deck. You know, we talk a lot about the Yankees' dominance over the Twins. I didn't realize their recent dominance over the Royals was as stark as it is. Just swept them over the weekend. Kansas City's in a bad way. They've lost 8 in a row. They're the only team in the big leagues with a worse record than the Mets have. Alvarez with a long-turn bat. It is so fascinating watching Alvarez as he's made this transformation into a more patient hitter. There are 3 pitches in this at bat he's taken that he could have easily chased last year.
Another one. And a kick. I think just very simply it's maturity, Gary.
5th full count already for Simeon Woods Richardson. He's walked 1, he struck out 2. 25-year-old from Sugar Land, Texas. Throw the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Alvarez. And Francisco grounds one to third, backhanded by Lewis. The throw across the diamond is true, 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Brett Beatty, who struck out his first time up. Woods Richardson threw Beatty a steady diet of splitters in that first at bat, and he starts him off with the same pitch this time. And this one, Beatty lines into right field for a base hit. So he got a fastball and he took advantage of it. Now the Mets have their 4th hit.
They're trying to go up and in, but it caught too much plate. Quick bat of Beatty here. I'd like to see a lot more swings like that. That was perfect.
Beatty aboard with 2 out for Mark Vientos, who had a base hit to left his first time up. And he takes a slider down for ball 1. Beatty and Vientos tonight hitting 7 and 8 in the batting order. With all the pieces that the Mets have that are struggling right now, it would be really nice if one of these two guys would catch fire. They have pretty much alternated over the last 3 years. Hot, cold, starter, reserve. Now they're both getting a chance to play.
It's strange that each time one or the other has been identified as being one of the more important players on the team, they haven't taken off.
Well, the opportunities will lessen starting tomorrow when Soto comes back. Unless the Mets were to decide that Carson Bench needs more seasoning, you have to figure that either Beatty or Vientos' playing time is going to suffer. 3-1 to Mark. Bench is on deck. Beatty can steal a base. He's at first with 2 out. And Vientos swings through the fastball 3-2. So you get another full count for Woods Richardson, whose pitch count is beginning to elevate. They're going to hold Beatty now. We'll be running on 3-2. And Vientos takes the walk. And the Mets have 2 men on. Second walk for Woods Richardson. And now Bench, so far this year, has been blanked with runners in scoring position. 0 for 18. He has to make a mark here. Into a fielder's choice, stole a base and scored in front of Lindor's home run in the 3rd. And he takes first pitch splitter outside for ball 1. It's going to be hard to be a young player going through the kind of losing streak the Mets are. You know that your role on this team right now is ancillary. At the same time, though, it's your first experience in the big leagues.
I don't think you feel it's ancillary like you feel like all the rest of the players feel. Maybe I can do something today to help the team win.
I mean, he's 22 games into his big league career, and he's already suffered an 11-game losing streak. His demeanor hasn't changed at all through his struggles and the team's struggles. And that's just not losing. That's getting obliterated. But the Mets have the lead tonight, and Ben's trying to add to it. Fouls back the fastball, and it's 2-2. Woods Richardson has not helped himself by throwing only 9 of 18 first pitch strikes. Through a season-high 92 pitches in his last start against Boston. Two coming to Bench. And that splitter stayed high, and they're going to challenge the call. Jeffers feeling as though it caught the top of the strike zone. Challenge brought to you by T-Mobile, and the Twins lose that challenge.
I understand what Jeffers is doing, though. He's trying to get his pitcher out of this inning. I get it.
7 full counts for Woods Richardson, 4 of them in this inning. Beatty and Vientos will be running. Semien on deck. 3-2 to Bench. Popped it foul, and we'll do it again. One of those nights where you don't mind running a couple of times on 3-2. Temperature right now 45 degrees. This will be the 29th pitch of the inning for Woods Richardson. And Bench cracks one to deep right field. Back toward the corner goes Wallner, and he makes the catch. Wallner runs it down to the warning track. Mets strand a pair in the 4th. They lead 3. Nolan McLean perfect through 4. Check in with Steve for more. Steve? We'll turn on your microphone.
Hey, there it works. You know, nobody gets to the big leagues without a really solid support system, and certainly Nolan McLean was no different. He was telling me that when he was growing up, His father worked 2 full-time jobs, 80 hours a week, running a landscaping business and a parks and rec company. And he said that he was so aware that Nolan was obsessed with baseball that even after those 2 jobs, he would take Nolan to the park at 9 o'clock at night and play baseball along with him for hours. McClain said it was good that one of his jobs was running that parks and rec business because he had access to all the town fields and the ability to turn on the lights after hours. McClain said that actually when he was originally growing up, his first dream was to be a grounds crew member because he was raking the fields with his dad when he was young. Then he discovered how much he enjoyed competition and quickly switched to being one of the players on those fields.
Nothing wrong with being a groundskeeper, but you know, this job's a little more lucrative. All right, Jeffers flied out his first time up. And he goes down swinging on a sweeper. No chance for Jeffers. 8 strikeouts for McClain, matching his season high.
Well, he hasn't thrown many of them, so when they start to see that sweeper here, their second and third time through, you're going to get some swings like this.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Cody Clemens takes a sweeper for a strike. Clemens struck out his first time up. And he flies 1 out to left. Chasing Bench back a few strides. 2 out.
You know, when you have this kind of arm angle, Gary, it can be tough sometimes to always get on top of that breaking ball. But he never ever has an issue with it. He just must have incredible grip strength to go along with the strength in his legs and his mechanical and the mechanics of his pitching.
14 up and 14 down for McClain. Here's Luke Keishel, who struck out his first time. And the breaking ball popped up on the right side. And for the second time this season, Nolan McClain is perfect through 5.
I'm a 200-year-old.
It's been a hard-working night for Simeon Woods Richardson. 80 pitches through 4 innings. Starts his 3rd time around the Mets batting order. Simeon leading off for the first time this season. Takes a strike. Simeon walked and scored in front of Lindor's home run in the 3rd inning. Lindor 3-run homer into the second deck and right. The only scoring in this game, and so far that's been plenty for Nolan McClain. Simeon yanks 1 foul. 0-2. Lindor and Robert to follow. Anthony Banda, former Met, up in the bullpen.
The last couple of seasons, Bonda's been in that Dodger bullpen.
Pitch clock violation called against Woods Richardson, 2nd time in the game. First one came before the first pitch he threw.
Yeah, he needs to start calling his own pitches. Too many shakeoffs.
This putter misses up and in. 2-2 to Simeon. We got Simeon at the plate and Simeon on the mound. Fly ball left center field, angling onto this Buxton, and he's got it. 1 out. Well, the Mets are still a ways away from the longest losing streak in history. That came in their first season in 1962. So had a 13-game losing streak that year, 15-game losing streak the next year. Hoping to end an 11-game streak tonight. So here's Lindor, who's responsible for 3 runs tonight. And he takes a curveball inside for ball 1. Lindor got a 3-2 fastball and parked it into the second deck in the Coca-Cola corner for his 2nd home run of the year. And after coming into the game with 1 RBI through the first 22 games, Got 3 with 1 swing. It's funny how the game works sometimes.
Well, the Mets needed it just to get a not only a home run, but a 3-run home run. And a little bit of a cushion.
410 feet on that home run. There's a strike, 3-1. And Lindor is on the walk. And that's the 3rd one given up by Woods Richardson. See how much longer they stick around with Woods Richardson. Is about to throw his 90th pitch. Lefty up in the bullpen. We got right-hand hitters coming up with Robert and Bichette. Robert is flying to left, popped to first, 0 for 2. Lindor takes a big lead but does not run as Robert swings through the fastball. Well, that is Lindor's first walk since the 8th game of the year. So he went 14 straight games without drawing a walk, which lines up with Soto's exit from the lineup. But after going deep in his previous at bat, Woods Richardson pitched him very carefully, and Lindor draws the walk. Robert foul tips one, and it's 0-2.
Which always seemed to me to be counterintuitive. When Soto was in the lineup, you think that Lindor would not walk, that he'd be getting a lot of pitches to hit. Last pitch right by Robert Jr.
I think whether it's conscious or not, with Soto out of the lineup, Lindor felt he needed to be more aggressive and swing the bat, which is his nature anyway. Not a guy who walks a ton. He's dancing off first, but not running, and Robert pops this one up into shallow center. Buxton coming on. And on the soccer lines, he makes the catch, 2 out.
Well, on that point, Gary, we're talking to Carlos Mendoza. You were there, asking him about Lindor when he was going through that slump. And Lindor's one of those guys that feels the only way to get out of a slump is to swing the bat, not to take that occasional walk or work the count, or just not that kind of player.
So he's at first with 2 out, and now Bo Bichette, who had the Mets' first hit, with Dunker into right field in the second. 1 for 2 on the night. Takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. A rare pitch down in the strike zone from Woods Richardson. Likes to work that fastball at the top of the zone. Gomez, the Mets' first base coach, advising Lindor on Woods Richardson and his move. He's dancing again. But Woods Richardson held the ball long enough that Lindor got flat-footed, and it's 1-1. He was fully intending to run, but then Woods Richardson ran out the clock.
You have to make that move a little later, because then he'll run out of clock and he'll have to deliver to the plate.
That's what Soto did so well last year when he stole 38 bases. He used that pitch clock to his advantage. Ball, Lee is in front of it, gets the force play, and that retires the side. We've played 5, McLean back to the mound. He's yet to allow a base run.
Folks.
15 up and 15 down for Nolan McLean. Second time he's done that this month. He's only the 3rd man ever to have 2 games of 5 perfect innings in the same season, and he's done it twice in 3 weeks. First 2, not the guys you'd expect necessarily. Not Doc, not Seaver, not Cone, not you. Rick Reed in 1998, Steve Traxel in 2002. And there's the first base hit for the Twins as Matt Waller takes one to the left center. And so the perfect bid stymied after 5 innings, as it was in San Francisco. And a nice hand from McLean.
Well, there's only been 2 good swings in this game. One earlier with a line drive to left field, and this one by Wallner. Kind of inside out of this pitch, sliced it into left field.
So pitching from the stretch for the first time. McLean gets a fly ball for Royce Lewis. The Beatty grabs. 1 out and 1 on.
The Twins early in this game were very patient, trying to work the count. And young McLean said, well, we'll have none of that. And now they're being aggressive here in this inning. So he should kind of read that. Maybe be a more, more breaking balls maybe early in the count.
Now Brooks Lee was caught looking at a fastball his first time up. So if you've pitched 5 innings out of the windup and all of a sudden you have to go to the stretch, what's the biggest adjustment?
The biggest adjustment is that you try not to get too concerned about it. The problem is that you're in such a great tempo, Gary, with your motion. His motion in the windup is kind of a hybrid, right? It's kind of a stretch anyway. So there's not that big of a disparity, but it really is the tempo. When you have a great game going, you're getting the ball and throwing it and you're not even thinking, and the next thing you know, you're in a little tiny different position and it feels a little uncomfortable to start. Just uncomfortable. It shouldn't be any problem, but it just feels strange. And most pitchers from their windup, whatever that is, always feel a little stronger than they do from the stretch.
0-2 to Lee. This is down with the changeup. 1-2. Good block by Alvarez. McLean has now given up 11 hits in 29 innings this season. 11 hits and 8 walks in 29 innings. It's like a video game. Wallner no threat at all to run. By the way, Wallner snapped an 0 for 16 stretch with that base hit. One-two to Lee, and he got him with a breaking ball. Season high 9 strikeouts for McLean, 2 shy of his career high.
I think the hitters really speak to how good his stuff is. These are some funny swings from Jeffers and now from Lee. It's just such a superior curveball with superior spin that it just doesn't stop breaking.
Byron Buxton is 0 for 2. Buxton has struck out and grounded out. Byron Buxton was the number 2 pick in the draft coming out of high school in 2012. Last year, he was teammates with the guy who was number 1 in that draft, Carlos Correa. Did you just play a team that had the top 2 picks in the same draft?
The Cubbies, right?
Yeah, Swanson and
I can't remember.
Bregman. Swanson and Bregman.
There you go.
Sweepers in for a strike, and it's 2-1 to Buxton.
That's a fully evolved, mature pitcher, even though he doesn't have a lot of experience. 2-0 to a guy that's seen a lot of fastballs. Buxton's looking to jack one out. A little wrinkle to get back in the count.
It's that bat up high. And for the 3rd time in this game, McLean comes in off the plate to Buxton. One of the rare times that McLean's been behind in the count tonight. It's only his 2nd 3-ball count of the game. In 1 to Buxton, and he rockets one out to left field. Back goes Bench to the warning track, back at the wall, and it's out of here. Byron Buxton with a 2-run homer, his 4th of the year, to cut the Met lead to 3-2. Only the 2nd home run McLean has allowed this season.
Looked like a little cutter to me. Gets on the side of the ball. Maybe a sweeper, not a good one though. And after all those pitches in, Buxton finally got a ball up and middle and didn't miss it.
I mean, the thought process made sense, right? After you just busted him inside, you go away with the cutter.
Yes, anything, but you have to have that ball down. Buxton likes the ball up and away.
So now it's a 1-run lead for McLean. Trevor Larnach lines one to right. Beatty coming on, and he can't get there. It drops in for a base hit. So the 3rd hit of the inning against McLean, who was perfect up until this inning. And now the tying run aboard with 2 out for Josh Bell.
So just a little thing that happened there before Buxton. Okay, so the pitch prior almost hit Buxton. A lot of the pitches have been inside the entire game. They were teammates at the WBC. McLean said, looked at Buxton, they had met eyes, said, my bad, my bad, shouldn't do that. You know what happens to a hitter when he hears that? 100% the next pitch is not going to be inside. It's going to be away. He's a smart hitter and he took advantage of it. I know what McLean's doing. That's being a good citizen. You don't need to do that out there.
You lose a little bit of competitive advantage.
I get it though. That's all part of growing and learning. And so the pitch is in. My bad. You never want to do that.
And Josh Bell gets jammed and fouls one off.
And then if you're sitting on something outside, you can see on the overhead, he made the adjustment. And Buxton's just so strong. I mean, I don't know if we've had a player with that kind of body and speed. I mean, we've had players like that, but you just expect so much from him. He hasn't been able to stay on the field.
Well, last year he was finally healthy. He had 35 home runs, stole 24 bases without being caught, and was the best version of himself.
And catches everything.
0-2 to Bell. He's grounded out twice in this game. Larnach at first with 2 out. The sweeper wraps around the plate. It's 1-2. Ryan Jeffers would be next. One-two coming. Weak ground ball down to Vientos for a 3rd time. And Bell is retired. But Byron Buxton's home run has gotten the Twins back in this game. It's 3-2 in the 6th. Ian breaks down what went wrong for the Knicks in their Game 2 loss against the Hawks and what they need to adjust to bounce back in Game 3 on the latest Putback with Ian Begley. Check it out now on SNY's YouTube page. McLean, after giving up a 2-run homer to Buxton, cooling his heels as the Mets try to get some more for him against the veteran left-hander Anthony Bonda. And with the lefty in the game, Luis Torrens will bat for MJ Melendez to give the Mets a right-handed bat. Bonda, who pitched the last 2 years with the Dodgers, has gotten off to a rough start, and his first slider almost hit Torrens, ball 1.
Well, when you are pitching relief, 1 or 2 bad appearances, of course, will shoot that ERA up. He's a guy that when he's at his best, throws strikes down in the zone, gets a lot of ground balls, doesn't walk anybody.
Torrens has pitched for, Bonda has pitched for 9 different major league teams, including the Mets, for 5 games in 2021. A couple of rings from the last 2 seasons with the Dodgers. Torrens has been a great pinch hitter in his career, hitting .352 as a pinch hitter, 19 for 54. Which is one of the reasons why when the Mets had a roster spot open, they called up Hayden Sanger so they could use Torrens as a pinch hitter against lefties. Alvarez on deck. Renz goes upstairs to fight that one off. 1-2. Alvarez, then Beatty for the Mets in the 6th. That's 3 runs. Came on one big swing by Francisco Lindor in the 3rd. Now their lead's been cut to a skinny run. And Torrens goes after a high slider, and he's struck out to start the bottom of the 6th. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Spectrum. It's internet, mobile, and streaming TV, all from one place. How young you are. 44. By Hyundai. Test drive a new Hyundai today only at your local Hyundai dealer. And by Suffolk Credit Union. Be a HELOC hero at Suffolk Credit Union.
44. That's a hitter's number.
I mean, that's the number they gave me. When you come to the major leagues, you take whatever number they give you.
I mean, that's Hank Aaron. That's Willie McCovey.
The clubhouse gentleman in those days was a little older, and he just was not going to take any gruff. Whatever he had, that was at the top of the pile you were getting. And it's one of my favorite pictures. It's one of the ones I keep in my house. To meet him was like meeting royalty. Even if he wasn't a baseball player, if someone introduced you and said, take a picture with this guy, you're like, who's he? There's something about him. There's an aura.
It was during his last year with the Mets.
Yep.
1983. Swinging a miss by Alvarez, 2-1. So if you were 44 and he was 41, did you have lockers next to each other?
No, that'll never happen. He had no lockers near him. He had plenty of empty lockers near him. But after he left, I was offered that locker, and I took it. So that's my locker.
Because it was his?
41's locker.
Because
the rest of my career, yeah.
Little aura rubbing off on you?
I would hope. It didn't really work, but I was in charge of the music, which helped.
1-1 to Alvarez. And he takes another rip at a high fastball, and it's 2-2. Simeon Woods Richardson went 5, allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run, 95 pitches. And now the Twins in their bullpen, which has been a source of concern early in the season. Alvarez just got a piece to stay in that at bat. Now Taylor is coming on deck to bat for Brett Beatty. Justin Topa is the right-hander up in the bullpen. And Alvarez flares one foul. Off days in the schedule, Alvarez has been playing day in and day out. It's had an off day Thursday, another off day yesterday. Chops one toward third. Circling it is Lewis, throwing on the move, and Clemens makes the pick, and they get the out. Nicely done on both ends by the Twins.
Well, good job by Lewis. Kind of circles in front of it so he can get a little more on this throw. Throws it overhand, not sidearm. And just gets Alvarez at first base. Good pick as well from Cody Clemens.
Almost rolled around in the heel with the glove on Clemens, but he was able to secure it.
Once it hits in there, though, it can roll around all at once as long as you don't lose control over it.
So now Tyrone Taylor will bat for Brett Beatty. And he'll go in for defense. The Mets trying to cling to a lead in this game. Taylor had a couple of at-bats Sunday, went 0 for 2. This is upstairs, a ball and a strike.
It's time to go yard. Echo, power on and on.
1-2 coming to Taylor. And he chops one foul.
It's interesting with Bonda coming in, right? It's kind of turned around the Mets lineup and the pinch hitters, but you would have put in Taylor maybe anyways because of his defensive prowess.
The question is, do you put Taylor in right or you put him in left and put Benj in right? 1-2 coming. Skipped away. 2-2.
Skipped away and maybe hit the umpire on top of the head.
I would think you want Benj's arm in right field.
I'm with you.
Probably the only reason they played Benj in left is so they feel as though Beatty's more comfortable in right. 2-2 from Bonda, and Taylor goes down on the slider, so Bonda comes in and throws a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. On to the 7th, 3-2 New York. Nolan McLean looking for a bounce-back inning after giving up a 2-run homer to Byron Buxton in the 6th. And he throws a first-pitch strike to Ryan Jeffers. McLean went 7 for the first time this year in his last start. Tyrone Taylor stays in right field for the Mets after he pinch hit. Jeffers has flied out and struck out 0 for 2. Clemens and Keishel to follow. The Twins 2 runs, 3 hits. The Mets 3 runs, 4 hits. High sinker for a strike, and it's 1-2, and Jeffers is going to challenge the call. Jeffers already lost one as a catcher, and he wins this one as a hitter. It's an interesting spot to challenge.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
But that was pretty low.
One's a strike. 2-2. Well, he's been very fastball heavy tonight. In the season, 51% fastballs tonight, almost 60. Now that's in there for a call, strike 3. You can challenge my call? All right. I'll throw 2 strikes. That's 10 tonight for McLean. Second time in his career he's reached double digits. He had 11 in his last start last season. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Cody Clemens, who has struck out and flied out 0 for 2. And Clemens takes a fastball for a strike.
Working the bottom of that zone here in this inning.
He's not messing around. His velocity is up in this inning. It's a little bit of pitching anger that you see sometimes from McLean.
Yeah, well, everything was going so smoothly and I mean, literally, that's why pitching will drive you nuts. One mistake, and it's 2 points.
Well, for 2 fastballs in a row, he pulled the string on Clemens, and it's 1-2.
I think any people I know that are former pitchers, they'll agree. It's what makes us all just a little off, a little crazy.
By the way, speaking of pitchers, happy birthday, Jesse Orozco. 1-2 coming. Breaking ball inside, 2-2.
Jesse just texted me. He's watching tonight from California.
Keishel on deck. 2-2 to Clemens. That's lined into right field for a base hit. Taylor trying to cut it off. Gets to it on the warning track. Clemens trying for 2. The throw by Taylor. Relay not in time. So Clemens with a 1-out double, his first double of the year, puts the tying run in scoring position.
Cody Clemens has turned into a really nice player. Whenever you turn the TV on and see the highlights, he's always getting a big hit there. That's a huge hit here for the Twins. Put a runner in scoring position. Hustling, cutting that base, and deciding to go.
Throw was going to be a little bit offline. That's why Semien cut it.
It would have taken a perfect throw. And for Taylor, he's running so hard. Look at how, that's how you cut a base. The front of it, the edge of it, and you propel yourself towards second base. Well schooled.
Now Luke Keeschel, who has struck out and popped up 0 for 2. Tying run in scoring position with 1 out. And Keeschel takes a sweeper inside for ball 1. Keeschel's hitting .348 with runners in scoring position. Twins as a team 3rd in the majors with runners in scoring position. That's lined to the center field for a base hit. Clemens to third is being waved around. The throw by Robert, and it's cut off at the mound. Terrible throw by Robert from center field, and the tying run comes in to score on the base hit by Luke Keeschel, and we're tied at 3.
Well, speaking to that number you just gave, Gary, they turn it up a notch, this Twins team, when people are in scoring position. Looked like a little breaking ball to me, that one of the few that stayed in the middle of the plate. Nice hitting. Straight up the middle. I thought when this play started to develop, that Roberts had a perfect chance to throw him out, but came up with nothing.
I mean, Roberts got a good arm, but that was an awful throw.
Yeah, he just didn't get anything on it. It happens, but
Oscar Brazoban is up in the bullpen. Justin Willard just paid a visit to the mound. Playing at 93 pitches. He's thrown as many as 100 in a start this year. But a 3-0 lead is now gone. 2-run home run by Buxton in the 6th. Clemens a double. Keeschel an RBI single in the 7th, and we start even. There's Matt Wallner, who had the first hit after McLean had gone perfect through 5. He led off the 6th with a single to left center. Keeschel can steal a base. He's 4 for 4 this year. He had 14 steals in only 49 games last year.
Good fake there by Keeschel. Had everyone yelling runner. Alvarez popped out of his crouch, and he didn't go. Now listening to first base coach, and if you look at that name, if it's familiar, that's Grady Sizemore over there at first.
Amazing that Grady Sizemore is the first base coach for the Twins. What a great player he was. Backdoor sweeper misses, and now it's 2-0 to Wallner. And McLean showing some signs of running out of gas. Might well be his last hitter. And Wallner grounds one foul on a cutter. 2 balls and a strike. Second throw over and a close play, but Keeschel able to get back. Vientos looks into the dugout. See if the Mets want to challenge. I think they will. So now Keeschel can get a little bigger lead. There has not been a base stolen against McLean in his major league career, but Keeschel may get one here. Swing and a miss for strike 2, and Keeschel steals the base easily. Got an enormous jump with 2 throwovers having already been made.
And that was a good hold by Alvarez. He had no chance. Watch the hop, almost a third of the way there as the pitch was coming to the plate. No need to throw that by Alvarez. Smart play.
So now the go-ahead run in scoring position. 2-2 to Wallner, and tried to backdoor that curveball and missed. 3-2. McLean has not walked the batter. He's struck out 10. But he's given up 5 hits to the last 9 batters.
Wallner's strikeout in his first at bat came on a 2-seamer running away.
3-2. Line toward the middle. There's Lindor to cut it off and throw him out. Lindor saves a run on a hot shot up the middle. Keishel goes to third and has to stop there. And now there are 2 out. And that's going to be all for McLean.
Well, he got it, but it almost popped out, but he stayed with it, and see, it popped out again. And he had fumbled it just a bit, and then had to put something on that throw to get Wallner at first.
But your All-State good hands replay. So McLean hit hard the last 2 innings after 5 perfect ones, and he will exit in a 3-3 game. Called to the bullpen, brought to you by Nissan. Shop NissanUSA.com. Brazoban coming in.
Icy hot, just so back.
Nolan McLean out after 6 2/3, leaves in a 3-3 game.
Well, after the handshakes with everyone, I would feel exactly the same way, and I'm sure I threw my glove 100 times. Just, it's almost like you got it in your grasp and it slipped away. How did that happen?
So now Brazoban is in with the go-ahead run at 3rd and 2 out. Royce Lewis, the batter. Lewis, first game off the injured list, has gone 0 for 2, and he flies one out to left. On comes Binge, and he makes the running grab. Side retired. Brazoban throws 1 pitch, gets the fly ball out. 3-3 at the 7th. Well, anything to try and end a losing streak. Nolan McLean on the mound. That seemed like a pretty good bet. He was perfect for the first 5 innings, and Francisco Lindor gave him a 3-run lead with a 3rd inning home run. But the Twins have fought back. It's 3-3. Justin Topa throws a first pitch strike to Mark Vientos as we start the bottom of the 7th.
Chenango Valley High School, so a local kid, went to LIU Brooklyn.
Grew up watching the Binghamton Rumble Ponies.
He was the bat boy for him.
Vientos been on base twice with a single and a walk. Bench and Simeon to follow. Vientos fouls off the fastball from Topa. Justin Topa came to the Twins from Seattle in the deal that sent Jorge Polanco to the Mariners. Fouled off. Twins got a 1-2-3 inning from Anthony Bonda. Now they've got Taylor Rogers, and if the face looks familiar, that's Tyler's twin brother. Cole Sands is the right-hander. 1-2 coming, and the breaking ball hit into the left center field. Back goes Buxton to the warning track with Larnach, and Larnach makes the catch. Santos got it off the end of the bat and hit it out to the warning track.
Well, it looked like Buxton was waiting for Larnach. Are you going to catch it? Because I can get it, but I prefer you to catch it. And Larnach caught it.
Vientos retired for the first time tonight. 1 out, now Carson Benj. Benj came up with 2 out and 2 on in the 4th and sent Wallner back into the right field corner to catch his fly ball. And Carson takes a fastball strike, 0-1. On a losing streak and you get your first multiple run lead in 2 weeks and you've got your budding ace on the mound and you lose that lead, how can you avoid thinking, here we go again?
Well, that's the biggest thing, Gary, when you are in these kind of slumps that happen, and it could be personal or team, is you got to fight so hard, that natural human feeling, and that feeling being that, okay, what's going to happen today? When's the next time I'm going to get a hit if it's on the personal level? But that's why you're a professional in playing these games, that all those games you played in the minor leagues that prepared you for these moments, it's a game of failure. You have to figure out when you fail or you are failing as a team, how to fight those evil demon thoughts that happen.
I mean, Carlos Mendoza was asked today as Benj challenges the strike 2 call, thinking maybe he's got a walk, and he does not.
Confirmed.
So the Mets lose a challenge for the first time tonight. Make the right call with Sterling Optical. See clearly and look great doing it. Carlos was asked about, you know, his attitude going into each day. Like, are you thinking about the losing streak? He said, no, I'm thinking about how I can help my team win today. Ground ball right at the shortstop. Lee had him played perfectly, and Benj retired 2 out. Forward ahead, your radio home for the Mets is 8:80 a.m. and streaming on the free Odyssey app. Night games with the Twins tomorrow and Thursday. Soto should be back tomorrow. Christian Scott comes up to make his season debut on Thursday. Rockies are ready for the weekend. The Nats are here next week, and then the Mets go to California again because, you know,
yeah, it's a Friday.
It's a road trip, so they have to go to California. Anaheim, Colorado, and Arizona on that next trip. Marcus Semien 0 for 2 and a walk tonight.
Let me give you the other side of it, Gary, because there isn't another team that's involved. That's the team you're facing. And they know you're on an 11-game losing streak. And they know what it feels like to go through tough times. And they know how they feel. So it's kind of like blood in the water kind of deal. That's what happens for the other team. They expect that you're going to make a mistake because you've been making mistakes.
Then again, the Twins have had troubles of their own. They just got swept over the weekend by the Reds. And Semien chasing a 2-0 pitch out of the strike zone. See, that's a bad sign right there.
Well, what it tells you is that everyone's trying to do too much. It's a 2-0 pitch, and we take a shot at hitting out of the ballpark. Sometimes your shot is walking and stealing a bag.
2-2 to Marcus. Lindor would be next. 2 out and nobody on. Semien fouls away a fastball. Braves have won 6 in a row. And as a result, the Mets are 8.5 games behind on the 21st of April. Braves are trailing the Nationals 8-3 in the 7th tonight. Their starter, Ronaldo Lopez, only went 1 inning. Swing and a miss. Semien down on strikes. So Topa works a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. And we go to the 8th with the Mets and Twins tied at 3.
Hey, this time it's Todd Zeal and Gary Apple. We can't light sage in the studio, so I decided just to turn up the temperature on Gary. Gary?
I'll sweat my way through the post-game show.
Got to do something.
Yeah.
It's like hot yoga in there. That's right. If you turn it up to 55, that's too hot for Gary. Oscar Brazoban faces Brooks Lee as we start the 8th inning. Lee has been up twice, struck out both times against Nolan McLean. McLean struck out 10 and walked none. Last Met pitcher to do that was Sean Manaea, who did it twice in 2024. Byron Buxton and Trevor Larnach to follow. And Lee takes the changeup down, 2 balls and a strike. McLean went 6 2/3, allowed 3 runs and 5 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts, a home run. His ERA up to 2.67. Still pretty nifty. Good sinker by Brazoban. It's 2-2 to Lee.
Somehow the Twins have more hits than the Mets.
Lee able to lay off the changeup, and it's 3-2. Last outing, Brazoban came in with a man on and 2 outs in Chicago on Sunday, walked the first 2 hitters to load the bases, and then struck out Seiya Suzuki. Now he strikes out Lee for the first out in the 8th. Well, the Mets trying to snap an 11-game losing streak, got an early lead on a Francisco Lindor 3-run homer. Nolan McLean was perfect through 5, and then things changed. Byron Buxton hit a 2-run homer in the 6th. Luke Keeschel hit an RBI single in the 7th, and McLean fell short. And now Brazoban has retired his first 2 hitters, taking on Buxton, who hit that home run that got the Twins back in the game. For Buxton, it was his 4th home run of the year. Twins have hit 27 home runs. Mets have hit 17. Minnesota started today 2nd in the American League in runs per game because they walk a lot. 2nd best on base percentage in the American League. A lot of that is they get hit by a lot of pitches. 1-2 to Buxton with Larnach on deck. And he struck him out. Got it with the changeup. Back-to-back strikeouts for Brazoban. 2-man down.
What a changeup this is. Not only was he out in front of this pitch, so much movement down and in on that changeup from Brazoban.
Now Larnach, who had a base hit to right his last time up in the 6th. Cole Sands is up in the bullpen. The Twins do not have a closer. They have a bullpen by committee. In fact, they had a series earlier this year against the Tigers where they swept 4 games in 4 days with 4 different pitchers getting saved. Only the 3rd time since the save rule was invented in 1969 that a team had done that. Larnach chops one foul. 2-2. 2-2 from Brazoban. And a pop up into shallow right center. Semien backpedaling, calling, and makes the catch, stumbling backwards to retire the side. Brazoban gets a 1-2-3 to keep it tied. One big swing by Francisco Lindor in the 3rd inning got the Mets all of their runs tonight. Now will face the veteran right-hander Cole Sands. And he takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Lindor, Robert, and Bichette 2, 3, and 4 in the order against Sands, who's now in his 5th year with the Twins. Not a hard thrower, but he will throw every pitch in the book.
Cutter is his favorite pitch. Tallahassee, Florida, Florida State University right-hander. Last couple of seasons, 62 and 69 appearances for these Twins.
Lindor swings over a curveball, and it's 1-2. Lindor's had one career at bat against Sands, 0 for 1. A homegrown product for the Twins, 5th round pick in 2018 coming out of Florida State. So far, the Twins bullpen tonight has been perfect. An inning from Bonda, an inning from Topa, and now Sands in the 8th. Lindor takes up and in, 2-2. Sounds like max effort. Devin Williams up in the Mets bullpen. I mean, that's as serious a grunt as we've heard in a while.
I remember Nolan Ryan, of course. He used to grunt when he pitched, but we would never say anything to him because, you know, he could do whatever he wanted. Kevin Apier, do you remember Kevin Apier?
Yeah, of course. He pitched for the Mets.
He used to grunt when he threw a strike, fastball.
I mean, especially with a smaller crowd on hand tonight. Exactly. And the great microphones we have down near the field. I feel like I should go help him. Sounds urgent. 3-2. And Lindor fouls it away. I mean, just as a good Samaritan.
Just a natural tick of his pitching, Mr. Sands, is the grunt as he lets it go.
Work for Monica Seles. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming to Lindor. And he struck him out. Got him with a high cutter. So Sands wins that battle for the first out in the home 8th.
4 strikeouts by the relief pitchers for the Twins so far in 2 1/3 innings of work.
The bullpen had been a source of huge concern for the Twins, but they've gone 7 up and 7 down. And now Robert yanks one foul.
You know, here at home, the Mets have a little area where their bullpen guys can stay warm. But I don't think that's the case in the Minnesota bullpen. Maybe they have a heater down there.
High fly ball hit to left center. Easing over is Buxton. And there are 2 out. So 8 in a row retired by the Minnesota bullpen. And now Bo Bichette, who has some experience hitting against Cole Sands. It's 2 for 6 against him. Bo poked a single on the right in the second inning. He's 1 for 3. And he hits one in the air to center field. Another chance for Buxton. 9 up and 9 down for the Minnesota bullpen, and we go to the 9th, tied at 3.
T.org and donate today.
New York 8-1-1, digging deep moment of the game. Byron Buxton's 2-run homer changed the tenor of this game. That's at a 3-0 lead. Nolan McClain was perfect through 5. Now it's 3-3 as we go to the 9th. And Devin Williams, coming off his first blown save on Sunday, will try and keep it tied.
Well, he needs a good outing, certainly. And here, as most teams do at home, tied game in the 9th, your closer is in.
3, 4, and 5 in the Minnesota order. Josh Bell leads off. He's been up 3 times, grounded out to first base each time. And he takes up and in from Williams, ball 1. Williams on Sunday allowed a leadoff hit to Ian Happ and then a run-scoring double to Michael Conforto that brought in the tying run in the 9th after the Mets were protecting a 1-0 lead. And he misses up and away to Bell, and it's 2-0. Ryan Jeffers on deck, and then Cody Clemens. Huascar Brazoban Impressive relief outing. Faced 4, retired them all with a couple of strikeouts. Twins 3 runs, 5 hits. The Mets 3 runs, 4 hits. And Bell takes a changeup down. And now Williams falls behind the leadoff hitter, 3-0. The Twins are going with 12 pitchers, so they have an extra man on the bench. So almost certainly if Bell gets on, they'll bring in a pinch runner for him. And a 4-pitch walk to Josh Bell leading off in the 9th. And if they were booing before, they're booing more now. James Outman, the former Dodger, will be the pinch runner for Bell.
Outman was the young outfielder that they thought would replace Cody Bellinger when he left
That's
the
before
Dodgers.
Andy Paz came along.
That's what Andy Paz, exactly. So it made Outman expendable, and he's landed here in Minnesota. Good player, good skills, good speed.
First walk given up by Met pitching tonight. 4-pitch walk. And now Williams has to work around traffic in a tie game in the 9th. Devin is not great at holding runners. He gave up 12 steals last year, 1 already this year. Ryan Jeffers the batter, and he takes fastball for a strike. Jeffers is 0 for 3 tonight, flied out, struck out twice.
Should have a throw over here.
Outman extends his lead. Fastball misses high, a ball and a strike. Cody Clemens, a left-hand hitter on deck. One to Jeffers, and he fouls away the fastball. 1-2. Devin Williams, who was interviewed by Bill Ladson of MLBpro.com, and basically said that the beginning of last year he was still feeling the effects of Pete Alonso's home run. And that's why he got off to such a slow start with the Yankees last year. He felt he was not in the right mindset because of the impact of that home run.
So when closers tell you they just forget about it, it's not true.
1-2 coming to Jeffers. This with the changeup, and that changeup's been non-competitive so far. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I've always thought that closers, they don't forget about it. They just use it as fuel their next time out. But when it comes in that kind of circumstance, like a Gibson against Eckersley, it lingers.
Because there's no tomorrow. There goes the runner. Pitch inside. Throw to second by Alvarez. Not in time. Outman steals the base. Third stolen base of the year for Outman.
Not easy to be a pinch runner and asked to come in and steal a base. And Williams is very much like Edwin Diaz. Just going to get stolen bases off him because of they don't have much of a move to first.
So the go-ahead run in scoring position with nobody out. 3-2 to Jeffers. And he lays off the changeup for ball 4. So back-to-back walks issued by Williams to start the 9th inning.
Pitching coach should probably come out here and just maybe have a meeting of the minds. Feet first slide. Outman goes in there hard, man. Look at how his ankle and foot crashed into second base.
And held fast.
I mean, look at all the dirt he lined up in front of the bag with that hard slide.
Justin Willard out to talk to Williams before he faces Cody Clemens with 2 men on.
It can't be anything but positive here if you're a pitching coach. Like, come on now, you're good. Stuff is good. You look good. Let's center cut it, get ahead, and get 3 in a row.
I would not think with Clemens up and a right-hand hitter Keishel on deck that they'd be bunting. He did have 2 sacrifice bunts last season.
I've seen Clemens bunt before.
Corners are in to guard against it. And he does square. Bunts it to first base. Vientos throws and he's safe. And the bases are loaded. Vientos trying for a play against a fast runner in Outman. He's got a strong arm, but it got there too late.
Vientos charged hard. He got rid of it hard. But you have to remember who the runner is at second base. Great speed and just beats it. Is it worth the chance to take it? I would say no. I would get the out.
So now the bases are loaded with nobody out for Luke Keishel. Infield is in. And Keishel takes first pitch changeup for a strike. Score that a sacrifice and a fielder's choice.
Can't criticize Vientos though. He's trying to make a play, an aggressive play. You want your players to be aggressive.
Keishel challenges, and the Twins are now out of challenges. Oh, 1-1 to Keishel, who drove in the tying run with a base hit. He grounds this one over the glove of Bichette in the left field, and the Twins take the lead. Outman comes in to score on the chopping hit past the drawn-in infield. Keishel's second RBI of the night, and Minnesota leads for the first time in this game, 4-3 in the ninth.
You can count the number of hits that bounce over the infield in this ballpark on one hand over 81 games. You just do not see it happen that often. Maybe the cold field, but Keishel finds a hole.
Still nobody out. A run is in. The bases remain loaded for Matt Wallner, who's 1 for 3 tonight. Wallner stops the swing on a high fastball, ball 1. Let's get Austin Warren up in the bullpen. Change up down and away, and it's 2-0. Bench reacting to the base hit by Keishel that brought in the go-ahead run. Well, Williams just trying to survive. Wallner swings and misses to the fastball, 2-1. Nolan McLean was perfect through 5. Wallner, though, started the comeback for the Twins with a leadoff single in the 6th, and the bleeding has not stopped. 2-2.
Hey, can you tell me good? Stand in front of the clock. He's in front of the clock.
Williams is pointing out that there's something wrong with the clock.
Said somebody was in front of the clock. Maybe the on-deck hitter.
Go.
So they move Royce Lewis over so he's not blocking the clock.
Well, Wallner was right on that fastball, so it should tell you, should open it up for that airbender.
Two coming. Game up and in with the fastball.
Cody Clemens on second base doing a lot of signaling. I don't know what it's about. Whether he has location. See?
Again, the 2-2. Came with the changeup, and he laid off. Full count.
I think a lot of runners on second base now are just doing things just to kind of get in the mind of the other team.
Jeffers at third, Clemens at second, Keishel at first with nobody out, a run already home. 3-2 to Wallner. Fouled back the high fastball to stay on the at bat. Been a good at bat for Wallner.
Yes, it has.
Royce Lewis, the on deck batter. Yankees shut out the Red Sox tonight 4-0 behind Luis Gil. It's big for them.
They're getting a lot of pitching back. Rondon is going to come back at some point. Of course, Garrett Cole, Gil trying to pitch the way he did his rookie season.
20 pitches already for Williams. He's still searching for his first out. And he walked him to force in another run. Third walk of the inning for Devin Williams, and it's 5-3 Minnesota. And that's going to be all for Devin Williams, who faces 5 batters and does not record an out. Third straight rough outing for Williams, and he will exit, and Austin Warren will try and mop up. Twins lead 5-3 in the ninth.
I'm just gonna get half off some Dom. My nose.
Austin Warren in to make his second appearance of the season.
Yeah, he only appeared in Los Angeles after being recalled on the 14th of April.
A nightmarish outing for Devin Williams. He walked the first 2 hitters. Clemens laid down a bunt. The throw to third was too late. Keishel bounced a single over the drawn-in infield, and then Wallner walked with the bases loaded to bring in a second run. Now Warren comes in to face Royce Lewis.
Warren's just letting the umpires know he's going to go from the stretch with the bases loaded. Got to declare that to the umpires before you deliver a pitch.
The infield remains in. Lewis has gone 0 for 3 tonight. Clemens at third, Keishel at second, Wallner at first. And Lewis takes the first slider for a strike, 0-1. And chases one even further out of the strike zone. It's 0-2. Austin Warren was in 5 games for the Mets last year. Did a nice job. Now in his second outing of this season. 0-2 coming to Lewis with Brooks Lee on deck. And Lewis goes down on 3 pitches. 2 sliders and a fastball. Sit down. 1 out.
Oh, good pitching there by Warren. He's going to wind up now. He's letting the umpires know. Put something on that fastball away and up.
Where do you play the infield now? Lee is not a fast runner.
You just can't give up another run, though, Garrett. So I would play it in.
We're going to keep the infield in for Lee, who has been up 3 times and struck out all 3. He has not had a 4 strikeout game in the majors. Looking to put a ball in play here and try and get another run in. Did you hear after Warren struck out Lewis, there were fans shouting MVP? I thought that's good. At least they're keeping their sense of humor.
When you have the infield in, though, you know, the busted bat hit comes into play.
The chopper over the third baseman's head. We've seen one of those. There's a good slider. And it's 1-2 to Lee. One-two coming to Lee, and he tries to hold. Did he go? He did. Strike 3.
Can't run.
2 out.
Breaking pitch, down and in. Fisher biting.
He takes off first, but you can't run with first base occupied and less than 2 outs. So Warren brought him into an untenable situation, just trying to keep his team in the game and give them a chance in the bottom of the 9th. And he struck out the first 2 hitters. Now he's got to get through Byron Buxton. The infield can drop back now with 2 out. And Buxton takes a slider out of the zone for ball 1. Buxton hit the 2-run homer in the 6th that got the Twins comeback started. 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and now 2 home here in the 9th. Buxton takes up and in, 2-0. They are chanting Austin Warren. To Buxton is the 8th man up in the inning. Trevor Larnach would be next.
Warren can get that slider on speed dial, can he? Every time he needs it.
Fans are true to the orange and blue. 2-1 coming. Did he go? He went around. 2-2. Austin Warren trying to pull a rabbit out of his hat and give the Mets a chance in the bottom of the 9th. 2-2 to Byron Buxton. Struck him out. Austin Warren strikes out 3 in a row after coming in with the bases loaded, and gives the Mets a chance in their final turn at bat.
Slider, slider, slider.
Can the Mets build on that in the bottom of the 9th? Comes your way after the post game tonight. Juan Soto back tomorrow. Christian Scott on Thursday. But right now, it's all about the Mets trying to snap an 11-game losing streak, down 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Austin Martin is in to play left field for the Twins. Cole Sands, who got the side in order in the 8th, stays on for the 9th. Luis Torrens first man up. And he takes up and in for ball 1.
To see if this 9th inning is a little different for Sands than the 8th. There's Austin Martin.
Sands going for his 2nd save of the year and the 10th of his career. Torrens' 2nd at bat of the night. He came up as a pinch hitter in the DH spot in the 6th and struck out. Mets have not had a hit since the 4th inning when Brett Beatty singled. Twins bullpen began the night with a 5.07 collective ERA. They have retired 9 in a row tonight. And Torrens watches a strike. Francisco Alvarez on deck, and then Tyrone Taylor for the Mets in the 9th. Mets have had just 4 hits. And Torrens chases one out of the strike zone. It's 2-2.
4 hits, none since the 4th. Threw that ball by Torrens.
2-2 coming. Fouled it back. Of course, it's not a save opportunity for Sands. He's in line for the win. Eric Orsi, the former Met, is now up in the bullpen for the Twins. Former Mets week. 2-2. Torrens fouls off another one. Anthony Bondo threw a 1-2-3 inning. Justin Topa threw a 1-2-3 inning. So did Sands. There's Orsi.
Woods Richardson got 15 outs.
7th pitch of the at bat, and Torrens goes down swinging on the cutter. 1 down in the last of the 9th. 2nd strikeout for Sands. He retired his first 4.
5 strikeouts now for this Minnesota Twins bullpen in the last 4 innings.
So now Alvarez is 0 for 3. He hits one in the air to right field. Wallner is there. And the Mets are down to their final out of the night. So after the heroics of Austin Warren in the top of the 9th inning, coming in and striking out 3 in a row to strand the bases loaded, the Mets are on the verge of turning that into naught. Tyrone Taylor up for the second time. He struck out as a pinch hitter in the 6th, stayed in the game in right field. They're trying to somehow get aboard and give Mark Vientos a chance for one big swing. And Taylor takes a strike, 1-1. Soto back tomorrow. Can't be soon enough. And that cutter's on the outside corner, and the Mets are down to their final strike. One-two coming. And Taylor foul tips it for strike 3. And the Mets losing streak has reached an even dozen for the first time since 2002. The beleaguered Twins bullpen goes 12 up and 12 down, and the Twins come from 3 runs down to beat the Mets 5-3 and hand the Mets their 12th consecutive loss.
Well, the home run by Buxton off McClain got it started. But Gary, you said it right. McClain had 5 perfect innings to start this game, but Derek Shelton's bullpen with 4 perfect innings after Woods Richardson to end this game was the biggest factor.
The crowd got a touch of excitement in the top of the 9th when Austin Warren came in with the bases loaded and struck out 3 in a row. But the damage had already been done. Devin Williams faced 5 batters, couldn't retire anybody, and the Twins get 2 in the 9th and defeat the Mets 5-3. Your game summary presented by Spectrum. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Nissan. Every Nissan is designed for people who refuse to settle for less. Visit NissanUSA.com or your local dealer. By Catholic Health, long live you and long live Long Island. By New York 811, safety is in your hands every dig, every time. And by your local Honda dealers, contact your local Honda dealer today. Final score. Twins 5, Mets 3. The Sage didn't work. See what Steve has up his sleeve tomorrow. Game 2 of the series. Mets will have Clay Holmes on the mound. Coverage begins at 6:30. First pitch at 7:10 tomorrow. Right here on SNY. Now for Ron Darling, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. After this break, it's Mercedes-Benz Post Game Live with Gary Apple and Todd Zeal.